All right. Okay. Hope everyone is okay. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're at, part of the world. All right. Where we at here? We're continuing to read Genesis. I think we are at chapter 22. No, chapter 21. Yeah, Genesis chapter 21. Hope everybody's doing well. And Happy New Year. It's time to read so we could get an understanding which will lead us to overstanding to what we're reading and no in between of over hyping or just being literal, reading literally what's being said, in this book here. So verse by verse, chapter by chapter, and see, what we're missing, what we've been missing for many years and centuries. So, I'm sure, believe me, not even believe me, you'll know if you really get to, books, ancient texts, or where some of these stories originated from in either Hebrew language or Arabic or Aramic, which is before Hebrew and Arabic. Even in Latin, in Greek, you'll see, the different meanings of these words that we're reading here. But even with the translation of English we get now, some people haven't read this interpretation themselves. They just like to listen to someone else read it to them. But a lot of times, most of the times, the individual who's reading it to you doesn't read the whole chapter or verse to you. You have to read it yourself. So this is what this channel is all about. Time to read your Bible, time to understand it, which will lead you to overstanding and to help you have a clearer perspective of what you're reading, so you could feel comfortable of what you believe in, because what you believe in could lead you to knowing the facts about what you believe in, which would lead you to many roads where you'll be encouraged more to read more. Read the past, what was said before of what you're reading now. Okay, all right, chapter 21, Genesis. All right, get your highlighters and, and dictionaries, and, we probably could do that afterwards, after we read this one, together. All right, chapter 21. Like I said, if you want to catch on, listen to the videos beforehand, click the like button, subscribe, spread the word. All right, chapter 21. The Lord visited Sarah as he had said, and the Lord said unto Sarah as he had spoken. Okay. For Sarah conceived and bare Abraham a son in his old age. Okay. Very old. At the set time at which God had spoken to him. And Abraham called the name of his son that was born unto him, whom Sarah bare to him, Isaac. And Abraham circumcised his son Isaac, being 8 days old, as God had commanded him. And Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born unto him. 100 years old. All right, and Sarah said, God hath made me to laugh, so that all that hear will laugh with me. All right, she started laughing. Okay. Okay, I mean, she laughed. I mean, is the laugh being sarcastic, or laughing being happy that she bare a child, or I don't know. And she said, who would have said unto Abraham that Sarah should have given children suck? For I have borne him a son in his old age. And the child grew and was weaned, and Abraham made a great feast the same day that Isaac was weaned. And Sarah saw the son of Hagar, right, the Egyptian, which she had born unto Abraham, mocking. So she's mocking him. She's probably jealous. Hagar is Egyptian, a different culture, right? All right, so she started mocking her. All right. So this be verse 10, Genesis verse 10, chapter 21. Wherefore she said unto Abraham, cast out this bondwoman and her son. For the son of this bondwoman shall not be heir with my son, even with Isaac. Man, she's being mean. Regardless if God blessed her, she's old, he's old, way old. But she still got that arrogance and jealousy and envy, like, tribal, like, Hagar, don't get this woman out of here. I mean, it's like, she's totally forgetting that she got blessed to even bear a son, but she don't, want to see that same blessing for Hagar, Wow, that's crazy. Knowing that God literally just came to you and told you won't have this, you would think the personality and would change. You won't even think like that. You'd be happy. You won't even have no evilness, no animosity for the next woman to bear a child. You'd be happy that you was able, to bear a child, right? The mindset of this woman, right? Anyway. And in verse 11, and the thing was very grievous in Abraham's sight because of his son. And God said unto Abraham, let it not be grievous in thy sight because of the lad, and because of thy bound woman. Bound woman. It's another word saying slave, right? She's bound, she's bound to him. Okay. In all that Sarah hath said unto thee, hearken unto her voice, for in Isaac shalt thou seed be called, and also of the son of the bound woman. Will I make a nation, because he is thy seed. And Abraham rose up, verse 14, early in the morning, and took bread and a bottle of water, and gave it unto Hagar. A bottle of water. Wow. And took bread. Okay. And Abraham rose up early in the morning and took bread and a bottle of water and gave it unto Hagar, putting it on her shoulder and the child, and sent her away. And she departed and wandered in the wilderness of Beersheba. Wow. It's like, yo, you gotta go. Sarah don't like you, all this chaos, jealousy. I can't deal with this. Take my son, and you guys go in the wilderness, man. Go chill out and try to survive in Beersheba. Wow. And the water was spent in the bottle, and she cast the child under one of the shrubs. And she went and sat her down over against him a good way off, as it were a bow shot. For she said, let me not see the death of the child. And she sat over against him and lifted up her voice and wept. And God heard the voice of the lad, and the angel of God called to Hagar out of heaven, and said unto her, What aileth thee? It's like, what aileth thee? Hagar, fear not, for God hath heard the voice of the lad where he is. I guess the lad is the son, Ishmael, the little boy. Arise, lift up the lad, and hold him in thy hand, for I will make him a great nation. Okay. You're in the wilderness, you're getting blessed too. Okay. And God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water, and she went and filled the bottle with water and gave the lad to drink. And gave the lad drink. And God was with the lad, and he grew. I see that they always put like other verses and chapters trying to relate it to this verse. I don't like that, Maybe other people do, but it has chapter 3 verse, this is chapter 7 verse 3, Numbers, and 22:31. Try to make you go to the other chapters to see if it's related to this, or they say it is related to this verse, like back and forth and all that. To me, it's not, but if you're religious, you try to, make it is. But anyway, verse 20, and God was with the lad, and he grew and dwelt in the wilderness and became an archer. And he dwelt in the wilderness of Paran, and his mother took him a wife out of the land of Egypt. All right, so she went to Egypt and got him a wife. I mean, that's a far walk. I mean, it's a lot of walking. I mean, she probably used a camel and all that stuff. So I guess God had her back, so she survived, and got him a wife out of Egypt. What's the name of the wife? We don't know, but I'm sure it wasn't an easy task. It just tells you that out of nowhere, because they were in the wilderness in Paran, and his mother took him a wife out of the land of Egypt. Took him. It's not ask or but this is what they said, right? This is what we're reading right here, right? Okay. And it came to pass at that time that Abimelech and Phicol, the chief captain of his host, spake unto Abraham, saying, God is with thee in all that does. Now therefore swear unto me here by God that thou wilt not deal falsely with me, nor with my son, nor with my son's son, but according to the kindness that I have done unto thee, thou shalt do unto me and to the land wherein thou hast sojourned. And Abraham said, I will swear. And Abraham reproved Abimelech because of a well of water which Abimelech's servants had violently taken away. And Abimelech said, I wot not who have done this thing, neither didst thou tell me, neither yet heard I of it, but today. This old English stuff. I don't even, it's, wow, it's something else. Anyway, I want to, it's good to, how in original tongue, how this will sound. But anyway, and Abraham took sheep and oxen and gave them unto Abimelech, and both of them made a covenant. Okay. And Abraham set 7 ear lambs of the flock by themselves. And Abimelech said unto Abraham, what mean these 7 ewe lambs which thou hast set by themselves? And he said, for these 7 ewe lambs shalt thou take of my hand, that they may be a witness unto me that I have digged this well. Wherefore he called that place Beersheba, because there they swore both of them. Thus they made a covenant at Beersheba. Then Abimelech rose up, and Phicol, the chief captain of his host, and they returned into the land of the Philistines. And Abraham planted a grove in Beersheba, and called there on the name of the Lord, the everlasting God. And Abraham sojourned in the Philistines' land many days. Okay, I guess that land is being called today the land of Canaan, aka the land of Palestine. Also today being called the land of Israel. Okay. Well, interesting reading. It's going to get more interested later on. I guess we could read another chapter, right? Let's read another chapter together. All right, chapter 22. And it came to pass after these things that God did tempt Abraham and said unto him, Abraham, and he said, behold, here I am. And he said, take now thy son, thy only son, Isaac, whom thou lovest, and get thee into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains, which I will tell thee of. Wow. Okay. Very interesting. My God is, you know, saying to Abraham, listen, you need to sacrifice your son. All right, sacrifice him to me. I mean, this is what we hear from paganistic, other religions that people talk about that say that's Satanists or it's evil, sacrificing people to their gods and all that stuff. I mean, it's God in the Bible right here saying, for Abraham to sacrifice his son. With that, we people like to, let's highlight this, like to highlight this. So people like to say, telling, because we read in the Bible, the sacrifice of animals and all that stuff, right? In the Bible. Now God is actually sacrifice a human being. So where that idea originated from, right? Because other cultures in the past have done it. Probably still doing it today, who knows? But we know for a fact it's been done. If we read, the Mayans, or the Aztecs, they've done that, or, maybe for certain purposes that they misinterpret what they read or what was told, that if you sacrifice a human being, this will happen for you, etc. But we know that was done in the past, right? And that certain cultures done that because the God they believe in was requesting that to be done. So it is in the Bible right here saying that God wanted Abraham to sacrifice his son. And all right, so verse 3, chapter 22. And Abraham rose up early in the morning and saddled his ass and took 2 of his men with him and Isaac his son, and clave the wood for the burnt offering, and rose up and went unto the place of which God had told him. So Abraham didn't question. He didn't say why, or he didn't hesitate. He didn't think about it. He just following orders. I mean, if I was told to do that today, I'd be like hesitating and like fighting. Like, why? Why you want me to do that? What kind of, you'd be like, what kind of God are you? You want me to sacrifice my son or my daughter? A lot of people would be like, oh, they'd be like, yo, you're the devil. It's like, if an entity came down and tell you that today, even though that entity might tell you that I am God. But God is a title, so a lot of things could be God. A lot of entities could tell you that I'm a God. That's just a title. But anyway, okay. Something to think about. Anyway. So verse 4, then on the 3rd day, Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw the place afar off. And Abraham said unto his young men, abide ye here with the ass, and I and the lad will go wander and worship and come again to you. And Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it upon Isaac his son. Jeez, took the wood of the burnt offering. So he burnt him. Yeah. Jeez. And Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it upon Isaac his son. So you know that hurt. Poor boy was yelling, screaming his head off. Yeah, let's highlight that. That's something to, to highlight on. I mean, Abraham didn't care. He was like, yo, about to offer you. Say, sorry, son, but this is the order. This is what I was told by the high power. God told me to do this to you. So let's go. And he took the fire in his hand. Wow. Hold on. Okay. And he took the fire. Oh, and let's read that. Okay, verse 6, chapter 22. And Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it upon Isaac his son. And he took the fire in his hand and a knife, and they went both of them together. If you used to do that today, boy, not only you go to jail, people say you crazy and you need to go to jail, you need to be sentenced, you need to be crazy, or you're insane, all type of stuff. People call you devil, they'll call you all type of names. If you used to perform this act today and you tell them, yo, God told me to do that, man. Anyway, okay. Something to think about. Okay, verse 7. Isaac spake unto Abraham his father and said, my father. And he said, Here am I, my son. And he said, behold, the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for a burnt offering? And Abraham said, my son, God will provide himself a lamb for a burnt offering. So they went, both of them together. But didn't Isaac know that he's about to be sacrificed? Because verse 6 says, and Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it upon the burnt offering, the wood of the burnt offering, and laid it upon his son. And he took the fire in his hand and a knife, and they went both of them, the fire in his hand. Wow. Okay. His hand's on fire. I don't know. I mean, it's very interesting. And Isaac spake unto, verse 7. And Isaac spake unto Abraham his father and said, my father. And he said, Here am I, my son. And he said, behold the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for a burnt offering? And Abraham said, my son, God will provide himself a lamb for a burnt offering. Okay. So they went, both of them together, and they came to the place which God had told him of. And Abraham built an altar there and laid the wood in order and bound Isaac his son and laid him on the altar upon the wood. So Isaac didn't know. Isaac didn't know that he was going to be sacrificed. This is why I'm like, hold on, I'm reading this here. So, oh man, listen, because verse 6 says, Abraham took the wood, and Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering, right, and laid it upon Isaac, his son, right? Took the wood of the burnt offering, laid it upon his son, and he took the fire in his hand and a knife. So he took the fire in his hand. There was fire in his hand and a knife. And then Isaac spake unto Abraham's father and said, my father. And he said, here am I, my son. And, Isaac said, yeah, son, what's up? And he said, behold, the fire and the wood, but where's the lamb for a burnt offering? And Abraham said, my son, God will provide himself a lamb for a burnt offering. So Abraham didn't tell his son that you the lamb, you the sacrifice. But then Abraham, hold on, let's go back over here. Okay, I'm trying to get. Oh man. Okay, let's go back to chapter 22. I'm sorry. Let's read this again. And it came to pass after these things that God did tempt Abraham. He tempted him, and said unto Abraham, Abraham, and he said, behold, here I am. And he said, take now thy son, thy only son Isaac, whom thou lovest. Forget about Ishmael, we kicked them out. Take now thy son, thy only son Isaac, whom thou lovest, and get thee into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which I will tell thee of. Yeah, take now thy son, thy only son Isaac, whom thou lovest, and get thee into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains. So, wow. So Isaac didn't even know that he was going to be sacrificed. Abraham, Isaac's like, where's the lamb and all that stuff? And Abraham didn't even... Abraham was like, I'm not even going to tell my son. He's being deceitful. He's like, you going to be the lamb. I'm about to sacrifice you. Wow. Okay. All right. So back to... I had to go back to make sure that Abraham was told that by God, and he's acting here like his son don't know nothing about what's going on. Okay. All right. Let's go to verse 9. Okay, back to verse 9. And they came to the place which God had told him of, and Abraham built an altar there, and laid the wood in order, and bound Isaac his son, and laid him on the altar upon the wood. And Abraham stretched forth his hand, and took the knife to slay his son. He's ready to do it, man. I was like, wow. I mean, he didn't even tell his son, and his son is like, he's confused. It's like, where's the lamb? So Abraham's like, don't worry, God is going to provide the lamb and all that stuff. Instead of telling Isaac, you the one about to be sacrificed. I guess he didn't want to tell him because Isaac would probably be hesitant and all that stuff. But I don't know. Abraham stretched forth. He got him. He must have had him tied down, because Isaac didn't even give a fight. He just built the altar and laid the wood in order and bound. Yeah, he bound him. Yeah, and bound Isaac his son. So he bound him, tied him up. And Abraham stretched forth his hand and took the knife to slay his son. Verse 11. And the angel of the Lord called upon him out of heaven and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, here am I. All right, we don't know how the angel appeared, how he came down. Was he flying? Did a vortex open or something for him to come and tell Abraham, don't do it. It's just a test. All right, and the angel of the Lord called unto him out of heaven and said, Abraham, Abraham, and said, here am I. And he said, lay not thine hand upon the lad, which is Isaac, right? Neither do thou anything unto him, for now I know that thou fearest God, seeing thou hast not withheld thy son, thy only son, from me. So I mean, that's a test. So, I mean, men do that too. They'll test you. I mean, gangsters or politicians or whatever. I mean, I guess, you willing to sacrifice, okay. I don't know. God just wanted to test him to see if he'll sacrifice his son for him. I mean, there's other ways to do it, to show that you're dedicated to me, you worship me only, you don't worship no other gods, but to sacrifice, to show that you're willing to sacrifice your son. Wow. Is that a good way? I mean, think about it. Will will my wife allow me to sacrifice my child, our daughter or son will you do that? Will y'all do that? Well, is there another way to do that? I've heard stories, read stories, watched stories, even movies, whatever, true stories or mysteries or whatever, novels, etc. People in power, told followers or soldiers, etc. Show your loyalty. Kill this person or do this or do that, and they perform it. Either they sacrifice themselves for jail time or to get hurt or killed. They'll do whatever just to gain power or to gain loyalty and all that stuff. Well, anyway, to me, I don't think the Almighty Creator, God, doesn't need to do all that. I mean, well, I don't know. That's something. It's questionable there. I mean, that's something that because men do that also. This is where they originated from. Is this type of idea, or this type of power hold on a person. If you believe in me and love me, you do that. You'll sacrifice your child, or you'll go kill that person just to, show me your loyalty. This is where we get this from. This is where men get this from, or woman, that's in power, whatever, whoever. Anyway, so Abraham lifted up his this is what we at here. 12. And he said, lay not thy hand upon the lad, neither do thou anything unto him. For now I know thou fearest God, seeing thou hast not withheld thy son, thy only son, for me. And Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, behind him a ram caught in a thicket by his horns. And Abraham went and took the ram and offered him up for a burnt offering instead of his son. Okay, so instead of his son, he sacrificed an animal, which cultures throughout Africa and Asia and deep woods in Amazon, down in South America, etc., have been doing for years, and people had misinterpreted that as a form of evilness, or you sacrifice the devil. But a lot of times that's not the case. But here it is right here. God is prefer, an animal be sacrificed to him. So, something to think about. This whole chapter was very interesting. Something to think about. something to think. Let me highlight this. This is interesting. All this is interesting. See. So what are we doing now? We're reading and thinking at the same time, Got to think. What you read something that's not normal or abnormal, you got to question it, You got to say to yourself, hey, okay, let's talk about this, Does it make sense? Is it common sense? You got to do all that. Okay, verse 14, and Abraham called the Abraham called the name of that place Jehovah Jireh, as it is said to this day, in the mount of the Lord it shall be seen. All right. And the angel of the Lord called unto Abraham out of heaven the second time and said, by myself have I sworn, saith the Lord, for because thou hast done this thing, and hast not withheld thy son, thy only son, then in blessings I will bless thee, and in multiplying I will multiply thy seed as the stars of the heaven, and as the sand which is upon the sea shore, and thy seed shall possess the gate of his enemies. Okay. Multiply your seed, you're going to have a great nation and all that. All right, and in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth, nations around the world bow down to this nation. Because thou hast obeyed my voice. So Abraham returned unto his young men, and they rose up and went together to Beersheba. And Abraham dwelt at Beersheba. And it came to pass after these things that it was told Abraham, saying, behold, Milcah, she have also borne children unto thy brother Nahor. Huz his newborn, and Buz his brother, and Kemuel the father of Aram, and Shur said, and Hazo, and Pildash, and Jitlap, and Bethuel, and Bethuel begat Rebekah. These 8 Milcah did bear to Nahor, Abraham's brother, and his concubine, whose name was Reumah. She bare also Tabar, and Kaham, and Tahash, and Maacah, concubine. So these guys had multiple wives plus concubines. All right. Oh, man. All right. So 40 minutes of reading. Well, listen. Press the like button. Like to hear, read your comments. Very interesting what we just read. Hope you guys enjoy it, and hopefully I had you thinking, and pass it along. Share, subscribe, like, comment. We're at chapter 23. We're moving along. A long way to go. A lot of videos, but thank you for reading with me, and I'll be back again, and travel in peace. Let's help the next person if you can. Kind words, financially, physically. Feed the next person if you can. Say kind words. Think positive. Take care of yourself be at peace, and have a good evening, a good morning, good afternoon, and we'll do this again. We'll be at chapter 23 next time. Yeah, this was very interesting. It's going to get more interesting later on. It's a lot of chapters and verses, and a lot of stories in here to, really, to get the understanding, which will lead to understanding of what we're reading. So we are going to point out a few things here together. Okay? All right. Thank you. And we'll do this again real soon. And we're at chapter 23, Genesis chapter 23. Peace.